Anti-nutrients are not a real nutrition talking point. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals on this today. So this is something that comes up a lot. We see it on social media, we see it on YouTube, Facebook, everything. All these people, they're worried about anti-nutrients, folic acid, oxalates, all of these things. Here's the problem with this. This isn't actually a real topic of concern. Right? This is something researchers and experts have studied, they know about, they fully understand, and the people who then promote it are generally failed medical doctors who write fad diet books. Okay, so we need to be clear on that. This isn't actually something that there's evidence of real concern. Okay? And what you will find if you dig a little deeper, there's a lot of layman's material put out on this debunking it, even by top experts. Like, for example, Baylor College of Medicine, their nutrition department has done write-ups on this to basically just debunk and laugh off the nonsense by some of these doctors who write these books. And they basically point out, look, this isn't actually a real concern. And a lot of them they've shown the math and everything of explaining that, yes, there are some anti-nutrients that may be concerns in raw foods. Okay, absolutely. Generally not fruits, for example, but various grains, beans, things like that. Maybe some nightshade vegetables. Okay, but here's the thing: are we eating raw potatoes? Right? Are we eating raw brown rice? We eating raw beans? Well, probably not. Now, beans is kind of a big deal. Yeah, beans, definitely some problems. This is why we soak and cook them. But we're not eating this stuff raw. So if we're not eating this stuff raw, it's not a concern. And I mean, a perfect example, and then we'll get into the fact that some anti-nutrients are actually good for you, but that's a separate topic we can discuss later in here. But the thing is, when you look at certain potentially toxic anti-nutrients or plant toxins in something like beans, right? That's a big one. That is one of the big ones. The soaking process alone removes over 99% of it. Okay? An overnight soak. The cooking process also removes over 99% separately. So, I mean, there's been data done on this where they look at these and what they find is that simply boiling and draining the water on beans, okay, removes something in the range of over 10,000 parts to one. So we're not even talking 99%. We're getting up into like 99.99% of it is completely removed by this process, down to the point to where we're safe. Like, you're going to, before you receive any sort of toxicity from cooked beans in that regard, you would have to consume more than your body will actually hold, meaning the fiber in them alone. The fiber content alone would exceed your GI tract's ability to even hold it and contain it before you reach to that problem. You have much bigger concerns at that point. So this is the issue there. I mean, again, ridiculous. The funny thing is, some of these anti-nutrients that people are worried about also block things like dietary cholesterol. All right, they actually lower lipids. They lower LDL cholesterol and stuff. So again, we get over to, well, wait a minute, is all of this even a concern? Is this even a concern? No. Same thing, people start worrying about phytic acid or whatever in your brown rice. All right. These things are reduced to a large extent by cooking. Like, the cooking process makes it unproblematic. And this is what people forget. When they look at humans, they start saying, well, we don't have the GI tract to handle certain things like certain pure herbivores, right? We don't have as long of guts. We don't have the certain bacteria. Okay. Here's the flaw in that logic. We don't need it. And here's why. We descended from cooked species. Okay? Humans and our pre-ancestors have been cooking these foods for millions of years. Like, this has been confirmed in the anthropology at this point, the records we have. Over 3 million years So we've reached a point to where our GI tract has developed for us to be mostly cooked food eaters. We eat cooked food. We've been cooking since before what we think of as modern humans even existed, by millions of years. Millions of years. So, you see where we're going there? These things are not a problem. We're adapted to cook food. When we look at our GI tract and look at our history, it makes perfect sense that we are cooked food omnivores. Right? We're cooked food omnivores. So, all these concerns with some of these anti-nutrients, the reason they're not a problem for pure, raw, herbivore animals is because that's what they eat. They're used to it. We're in a case where our ancestors have done the other thing that I just described. Our ancestors have cooked for millions of years. We are well suited to handling these cooked foods. In fact, we thrive on them. We know that cooking all these plants actually improved our nutrient absorption. So you get people, anti-nutrients. No. The cooking process gets rid of this. We get much better nutrient yield. There are so many of our vegetables and plants that we get more nutrition from them cooked. And it's allowed us to have a shorter gut. It's allowed us to absorb more nutrients, to have a higher brain capacity versus gut. Right? We handle this stuff really well, and the data supports all of that. The nutrition research supports all of that. All the leading experts will tell you this whole anti-nutrient thing is complete nonsense. Just cook these foods. If you even have these problems, like certain things with oxalates, not everyone has problems. But like if you do just cook or steam your spinach and broccoli, okay? Just cook it. Completely goes away. And what people forget, some of these things they are terming anti-nutrients do positive things. Some of them are antioxidants. Many of them feed gut flora. They actually help your gut biome. You know, in the amounts we get from trace amounts of raw or definitely from a cooked food. Like, this is beneficial to your health. Many of these things lower LDL cholesterol, which again, the data is overwhelming regarding the negatives of. That's not even debated anymore. Oh, the people who are into the anti-nutrient stuff are unaware of that, by the way. They seem to be oblivious to the modern data and meta-analysis and causation. Okay, they just ignore it. It just doesn't exist for them. They pretend it doesn't exist. But guys, the anti-nutrient thing is not a real topic. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals